welcome to episode 47 of Chapter 1. We're already off topic. 3 women, 1 podcast, and 0 answers to any questions we've had in this book. I'm Mary.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Elizabeth.
And this week is part 3 of our 4-part coverage of Web of Vows and Vengeance. And we are going to be discussing chapters 41 through 60. And as always, there will be spoilers, theories, mispronunciations, and lots of wildly off-topic yapping. But first, what we having?
I didn't bake because I was too busy cleaning the house because they were coming. So we have chocolate-covered pretzels. And then
We have tea.
we have our cinnamon
Filled to the
tea.
brim.
I feel like this is now like our, not a mascot, it's like our go-to. It's like
Cinnamon tea.
Well, unless I should tell James to buy me some because I was going to say I just used the last 3 tea bags, so it might be different next week.
Remind me, I'll pick some up.
Okay.
All right.
But we're all back together again. Although I just realized I'm glad I came this week and not next week because thank God my husband doesn't ever really watch these. I forgot it was our anniversary next weekend. I only knew because my son wrote it on his calendar, so he would remember.
That's adorable.
It was real sweet.
I know, that's actually poetic.
My parents text me every year to ask them, is our anniversary on the 19th or the 18th?
That's funny
of
because
October?
she even asked, I think we were at something sad, like a funeral, and she was like, when's our anniversary?
I can't even forget mine because if I remember the year 17, I just go backwards. 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 17. It's 5, 6, 17. So I can't forget.
I use our anniversary so much, like my passcode and things like that.
Oh, really? When were you married?
I'm an open book. You can look at my phone anytime. It's
The world can
September
The world
27th.
can open your book.
Well, how many things do you need a passcode for?
Everything.
Well, not password, passcode. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't figure out the words.
They use it as shortcuts now.
It's a pin usually. That's what most people use as their pin for their
Get into your credit cards.
credit cards and debit cards.
Shut up.
You're like, come to think of it, that's not what I'm using.
We've officially changed it more.
Anyway, chapter 41.
So last week we ended on another cliffhanger, and it was that they were at the ball after the trial, and it had been infiltrated with people calling out the king as a murderer, saying he will pay for everything that he has done, and everything kind of descending into darkness. So as we begin in chapter 41, you've got chaos erupting everywhere. A voice is saying that everyone needs to hear the truth. But it ends up getting cut short, and then the darkness vanishes, only for Rose to see a ton of bodies.
Sorry.
So she's looking for her sister, because of course Rose is all about some K, right? Everything she's doing is for her sister, which her sister in this set of chapters done pissed me off.
Ungrateful.
Yes.
Isn't she
Say it louder.
Ungrateful.
But she's 18, right?
Yeah.
Childish.
She is childish, but also I think in this set it really went beyond that. I tried to defend her before of being oh, she's just...
I'm like, she's 18.
She's just a kid.
She's 18, but also she's old enough to be an adult now.
But I'm also that's your sister, man. Come on. I don't know. She was a rough one for me, this set of chapters. But
From here on, I do not care for her.
Yeah.
But I'm 50% through the
second book, and I really don't like her.
Y'all, I'm with you guys, except I did read I'm in chapter 64. So I did read a little bit ahead. But I'm still in this book and have not finished it.
Me and Catherine, done.
So I'm with you guys.
In the second book, because we
Still-
are addicted.
Yeah, I don't know.
So she's looking for Kay because she wants to protect her. And I will note that Hugh for a minute had me on his team here because he was clearly protecting the sister because he put himself between her and danger. And I was like,
That's nice.
Hugh seems like a stand-up guy. Yeah.
He's not.
And
He's
he knows
not.
Cure.
But it's fine.
You get that
Do we
vibe
find that
later.
out in this set of chapters?
I
No.
get a vibe from him. I don't think that Cure really likes him as much as
You do
they
get
say
you
he
get
likes
you
him.
do get some good foreshadowing by Kior that Kior's
He's just there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he cares for him as
But
much
he was
as...
the person in his...
I think it's because they grew up
Right.
together and he doesn't have many people in his life.
Yeah, there was nobody else to put in there.
Except Zell,
Yeah.
which probably wasn't allowed to get pulled.
So...
And his daddy, who he hates.
That's actually kind of sad.
He'd probably just leave his daddy. He'd be
Cure
"You can
really
just
doesn't
stay,
have
die."
anybody.
So the king chastises Zell, who was the one who killed all those people who are now laying dead, for taking so long to save him. And Zell confronts the remaining rebels, and they end up pulling a sword of ice with several people screaming and panicking because they're seeing now that these are you guys saying Eason Ison.
Isn't. I don't know. There's no.
Yes, that would make sense.
I can't help
Ison,
but to
because
think
they
Ison.
have the ice.
Okay,
But I would say Ison, I don't know.
I said at the beginning in the intro there would be mispronunciations. So I do not have the audiobook of this
You
at
know,
all.
we
so-
have hardback. I have hardback, but also Kindle and paperback, and none of us have the audio, so we have no idea.
We're just once again winging it. I think it's like chapter 1 we're already off topic, and it could also be chapter 1 we are just destroying the English language, but it's fine. It's fine. So
Someone's alarm is going off. Is it?
That's your.
Not mine. Mine would be very loud with the van.
I've never heard mine. I don't know.
Let's go look.
There's 2 of them now.
Yeah.
There's multiples going on.
Well, now
Oh, it's gone. It's gone.
It sounded pretty far away.
Did it?
Yeah. I feel like if it was in your driveway, it would have been louder.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay.
Sorry. Well, when it first started, it sounded kind of like me, and I was like, maybe it's me. Because I don't feel like yours would be like a Honda Odyssey. Brr, brr. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not gonna like really blow you out of the water.
Right.
It's gonna be like, hey, I'm little.
Don't touch me. Anyway,
This is all going to stay for your listening and viewing.
the Ison.
Yeah. So Azel battles several of the Ison. We're just gonna go with that.
Yep.
Many of the Retlings join the battle as well, and Zell is trying to protect them, as well as the king, which makes him very vulnerable. Which the rebels end up seeing that, and then they focus all of their attacks on Zell. And Kior ends up joining Zell to battle, which Zell was not thrilled with. He was like, "What are you doing?" And Kior's just like, "Whatever, I'm doing whatever I want." And Rose notices that one of the bodies on the floor has a tattoo, which is the same tattoo that Peter had, which we called it. We said it was going to show back up.
Yep.
And that carriage driver that drove her had it too.
And he's a rebel.
So just as Rose goes to join the battle as well, she ends up spotting Peter there in the castle and worries that Reuben might be there as well, since they were like such close friends and he was always with Peter. So she's like, oh no, is he here too? Even though, she'd gotten busy with Reuben quite a bit back in the day, and she does not recall ever seeing a tattoo. So, and she also doesn't really know which side she should be on. So she's not sure which side of the battle to jump into. And meanwhile, Zell attacks an Ison only for it to just end up being an illusion that they used as a distraction, enough for someone to slip in and slice his throat. So in chapter 42, as Zell lays dying on the floor, Kior is beside him, freaking out, trying to get a healer. And his father tells him to get up and stop acting like a peasant and making a scene, which was, I don't like his dad.
We don't like him.
I feel like we're going to learn so much about the dad because of how the book ends.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I will say I'm 50. We're like 50. We're at the same place almost. We're like 50% in the second book, and we have not learned about
the dad.
King Daddy King.
That's going to be book 3.
It might be.
It might be.
I do think so. I know we've said previously that this is like a 4-book series, but I think it's a 4-book series with the prequel included in that 4. Now that, because I saw the book 3 come out and it said, and I have book 2 and it says book 2 of 3.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's actually a trilogy. So I think there will only be 3 books,
And then one novella.
and then the 1 novella.
That would be nice.
It would be nice.
I wonder, y'all need to read the novella because I wonder if there's any hints or clues that we might be missing.
If I get done with this in time, I'm way behind on my arcs. So I need to get caught up. But I will.
Y'all just read it for me.
Yeah, if I have time, I'm gonna try to read it before the third book comes out.
I'm reading other books, and I don't know when I'll get to the second book. I hope I can just delve right into it. But y'all, I'm reading the 6th book of Matt Denneman's Dungeon Crawler Carl, and the Eye of the Bedlam Bride is like almost 1,000 pages. She's thick. She's like over 800. So it might be a bit. So, I mean, that's fair. She's like,
what's that line from Lord of the Rings? It still counts as one.
So the king orders the party to resume and to someone to clean up the mess.
oh,
Kior is falling apart, and Rose tries to get Hugh to go to him, but he won't disobey the king, which pisses Rose off because she thinks he's like.
that pissed me. See, that's a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was like,
I don't know about him.
Yep. That was my first.
Which that's supposed to be his best friend. So Rose ends up going herself, and she finds him adding another tally to the marks in the battle yard in the pouring rain, revealing that he's been the one making them this whole time, marking every death that he's seen. Kior is like super sad and angry about what he basically views as like a mentor and another father figure dying, and lashes out at her and tells her to kill him like she's always wanted to. And she admits to him that she no longer wants to kill him anymore, and that Zell loved him and thought that he was redeemable. And they have this little moment together. Kior ends up, of course, flirting with her, and ends up telling her that she looks really good soaking wet. And
I do like how he flirts.
he does flirt real well.
It is
He's
so
got some
good.
good one-liners
He
too.
flirts at some weird times.
He does. He
He
picks
does,
up.
but I think that's why I like it.
I kind of wonder though if he uses it as like a, you know,
Coping mechanism.
yeah, like some people use humor, and he just uses
Flirting.
aggressive flirting.
I like it.
I'm not against it. I am enjoying him. So she ends up leaving. She goes back to check on her sister at the ball. And in chapter 43, when Rose returns, Linos asks where she's been and why she's all wet. And Rose realizes that by like looking around that there is actually no storm happening. It's like just happening above wherever Kior is, and that he's making it happen with his emotions. I'm mentioning it because it's not super important here, but it will be important after this book, maybe in another book.
Maybe in another book.
So Linos helps her get dry, so she doesn't freeze to death, and then she goes to find her sister, which she ends up finding her tucked away in like a private room with Hugh. But they're just on a sofa talking. Although Rose is still like, her like guard just goes like way up. But Hugh quickly sees himself out, and Rose tries to put an end to whatever relationship it is that those two are having. And Kate argues that they're just friendly and that Hugh's a very good man and friends with the prince. And Rose tells her to just be careful. Although Kay mentions that Hugh told her the same thing and that she should not trust the people at court, which again raised Hugh up a level again, because I'm like, again, he's trying to protect her. Like, he's not so bad, right? So they end up falling back into some sisterly conversation before being interrupted by Arthur, who comes to...
What a dumb name.
I so want to say Arthur.
Arthur every time. Yeah. I'm
Oh.
like, why did we have to leave the H out? Arthur.
I don't mean like dumb, like it was dumb to name him that. I mean, it's kind of like when someone's like a crappy guy and you're like, of course his name is whatever. You know what I mean?
Of course his name is Arthur.
Right.
Of course you look like you'd be missing the H.
Right.
Is it in your belly?
He's not good enough to be an Arthur.
You weren't good enough to get the H.
He's not good enough.
So, the next morning, she goes to the battle yard, even though Zell won't be there, and ends up finding Kior drunk and, like, passed out by the weapons cabinet. And she helps take him down to the kitchens, knowing that they would help him down there. And later, Rose and Linos are training together and discuss future trials and the need to work in pairs, with Rose joking that she will pair with Jonas, and he's just going to make her stay back the whole time. When Linos uses her magic, mentioning it's weird being able to do that, because if we remember, Zell was like a siphon, and that's why he oversaw all the training, because they were forced to not be able to use their magic on one another and actually have to train, you know, in battle and weapons and whatever. So Rose is now figuring out, oh, well, with Zell gone, and Holden's going to be there, and everyone's going to have their magic back, so, like, she's just going to have to train privately in the dorms from now on to stay safe. And that's when Zara shows up with her little clique, and she immediately just is the worst and opens up all these wounds on Rose. And Linos tells her this isn't what Zell would have wanted, thinking that Zara might actually have like an ounce of respect for, you know, their former trainer, but
She don't.
Zara starts talking crap immediately about Zell, calling him weak and just like all this crappy stuff about him, only for Kior to pop up just out of the blue. I will say, this set of chapters, Kior just is like popping up conveniently at all the right places. Every time something happens, he's like, "Ayo." He's like, "What'd you say about my girl?" So he pops up and he calls her out for calling Zell weak after he saved everybody and saved the king and was killed basically in the line of duty. Zara ends up standing by her statement, and she's like, "I didn't call him weak, I just called his magic weak, and I stand by that." And it ends up further angering Kior, and he gets pissed off, and he whips up a storm and threatens her. And Zara tells him she doesn't care that he's the prince. This is what blew my mind, this whole scene with Zara, because before she basically like very kowtowed down to Kior, was like, "I would be so honored if you would train me, your royal highness." And now she's treating him like utter crap, right? She's like, "I don't care that you're the prince. Fuck you. You're just in my way. Hate you."
She's incredibly idiotic.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole book.
Yeah, I never understand. I still, like, I've even rereading it, I don't understand her motivation there of, like, and what her thought process was. I was like,
what did you want in the gifting? Because
I guess we'll never know.
So y'all don't find out.
What she wants? No.
Yeah. We just know she's not going to get it.
Yeah, which is fine.
I don't
'cause
think
she's
there
the
would
worst.
be 3 books if she did get it. So
She's the worst. But Kior threatens them again, and he ends up kicking everybody out of the yard. And Rose hesitates, telling him that drinking won't help, that her father tried it and it ended up killing him in the end. And Zell wouldn't want him to be like this before she ends up leaving him alone, which I was like, good speech, girl. So back in her room, she's reading through those books that she got from the library. And she ends up finding a mentioning of 3 blades of Vindran.
Vindran? Sure.
So,
is Vindran a place? Because it's a capital V.
can I don't have.
Do you know? Do I know?
Yeah, you should.
Oh.
If you were paying attention in book 2.
Oh, wait, did we just find out?
Yes.
Oh, that's why.
I don't know.
So so there's pictures of daggers that are just like identical to hers. So trying to find more information, she discovers that multiple pages in the book have been torn out and are missing. So you are not going to get the answers to that either in this book.
In this book.
So
Did you get it in the second book?
I have not yet. So someone ends up knocking on the door, and Lenos answers only to find Kior there saying that he needs Thorn, which is his little nickname for her, because she's a rose. And then in chapter 44, Kior tells Lenos to get out before she refuses, because she says she wants to make sure that Rose is safe with him, which I got to say, I really like Lenos a lot. Like their friendship.
Me too.
She was a good friend.
She was a good friend.
She was.
Past tense.
Past tense.
If you read these set of
If you
chapters,
read these set of chapters.
then you already
Past.
know.
Yeah, I actually like, so I was sad that she died. Don't get me wrong, because I really like her as a character. I really like their friendship. I felt like it was a very healthy and honest friendship. And even though this is like kind of it's not super dark and heavy, but like there's a lot of like, I mean, it's battles, it's trials, there's death, you know, there's like a lot happening. But like, I felt like it was still a good like kind of representation of this like girlhood, because they have a lot of like girl chats and just like that camaraderie between girls. So I did enjoy that. But I also really do enjoy a good main character. Like not the main character, but like a main side character killing, because then you know the stakes are really high. If no one ever dies, that's important.
Especially if all your main friends survive. It's kind of like
you're kind of like, okay.
convenient. So I really hate that had to happen.
But I did, it served a good purpose in the plot, and it does keep the stakes really high, so I actually did, I don't want to be like, I really liked her death, but I kind of did. It was like a good...
And if you like things like that, then you'll love Pierce Brown. Just saying.
So Kior reveals a bad cut on his side, and that he had nowhere else to go since the healer's answer to his father, and he didn't want his dad to know about it. And Zell was the one who always helped him before when he was trying to hide stuff from the king like that. So Rose ends up stitching him up, and he's like flirting with her the whole time. And when done, she tells him that he can go, and he asks her what if he doesn't, he doesn't want to go. And she's worried that he's drunk and just using her to hide from his pain and as a distraction. And he ends up pushing her up against a wall and leaning in to kiss her and telling her to own that she wants him too when the door slams open and Benny crashes in to make sure that she's okay. And then Kior ends up leaving but tells her to think about it as he walks out. And in chapter 45, they find another siphon for the battle yard. I didn't write his name down.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Roderick, maybe?
Roderick, no. Yeah, it is Roderick.
I mean, I don't know that his name's important. I was just like, because he doesn't show up that
apparently
much.
not that great.
Yeah, he's not super strong. He has to kind of be really pretty close to whoever he's blocking their magic. So even though it's like working, it only works on like parts of the battle yard. So like Rose is having to kind of stay near him.
That's fair.
But Rose has been skipping the morning training sessions that she used to do with Zell, and now she's not sure if like Kior's even going to be there anyways, but also she's kind of afraid to be alone with him. And meanwhile, she's also been avoiding Jonas, who's apparently become super overprotective and annoying. So while training with Lenos in group training, Lenos tells her that Kior won't take his eyes off of her and asks if anything other than stitches happened in the room. When Kior interrupts their training, saying he's going to take over, and once Lenos is gone, he mentions her not coming for morning training sessions and convinces her to resume those, and then challenges her to a no-holds-barred fight and a first-to-draw-blood wins kind of battle. All while flirting endlessly with her.
Throughout.
With massive innuendos. So before they begin, he takes his shoes off, explaining that the earth has conductivity, and shows her by kind of like making static trace along her skin, which when this first gets introduced to us in this scene, I was like, oh, that's going to come up later. And then which it does. And I kind of related it to like, since he's not a shadow daddy, he's a static daddy. But it just doesn't have quite the same ring, but it's
Electro daddy.
I mean, considering what he can do, I'm like, it kind of tops Shadow Daddy.
I know.
I'm like, that's like vibrations. I feel like, this top Shadow Daddy.
Like, I like a static daddy.
Good job on character development.
Oh my god. During their fight,
It's gonna be a new catch now. No one's into Shadow Daddies anymore. It's all static electricity.
all I can think of is, do you remember, there was really popular in like the 80s and 90s. I think it's still around. Those cans of Static Guard that you'd like spray on your skirts, you know? Because you'd wear a slip too.
And then it would get stuck because of static.
Yeah, I'm like, all you need in defense is just a big old can of Static Guard. It smelled so bad too. I
It
hated
did.
that stuff.
I know, but you also needed it.
You did.
It was love-hate.
And I actually used it for years, even like after it fell out of being common use, like for clothes, because we stopped wearing slips and layers like that under our
But they say
clothes.
you can have it in your hair too.
Yeah.
And in the
Well,
wintertime.
so I used it on my horse's blankets because it builds up static. And let me tell you something, there's nothing worse than taking a horse's winter blanket off, especially like a spooky horse, and it's just shocking
And you
them the
get
whole
zapped.
time. I had this pony who was terrified of blankets because every time he would get zapped. And so we started using Static Guard for a long time, and then it became harder to find, and I found that just Shoshine worked too if you sprayed it down really good with Shoshine.
Does it smell better?
Yes, it smells amazing.
There you go.
Guard smelled terrible.
So, Shoshine, Static Guard, if you're still out there, you need to up your game.
Apparently, yeah.
So, thank you.
I also felt like it lasted longer too, because it's got like Shoshine's kind of oil based, where Static Guard, I don't know what the hell it was. It just went away. It smelled bad and went away.
Mm-hmm. But it worked.
But it did work. So during their fight, he calls her a distraction, and he ends up pinning her and straddling her. And she uses that to her advantage as he details what he would do to her if he showed up sober at her door. And she asks if he is remembering the way he moaned the other night. And when he says no, it was her who was moaning, she says, well, next time she's going to have to rectify that, which very much distracts Kior. Enough that she can move. She ends up landing a blow and then like walking away triumphant. But he looks down and his stitches are still good. And he reminds her that, you know, that the deal was to draw first blood. And she kind of cockily tells him to like check his neck, and he ends up finding a trickle of blood there from a small nick that she landed. And he looks at her like super proud. And then in chapter 46, Linos is like drags her away for girl talk immediately after the fight, because she's like, what is happening between you and the prince? Because that was a whole lot of just pure
Like,
sexual
everybody
tension.
saw that. You're not hiding that.
So Rose says that even if she's physically attracted to him, nothing could happen because she's from the slums and he's a prince, and, you know, a tale as old as time. So at dinner, Benny and Linos joke about her and Kior's fight earlier, but they pretend they're talking about a different fight that was happening and other stuff in the battle yard, and they're kind of using a lot of, like, you know, also innuendo to kind of keep Jonas in the dark. And Jonas notices the prince coming over and is surprised when he asks for, you know, to join them. And with him there, it quickly becomes really silent and awkward. So everyone starts to bail. Well, actually, I think Benny and Linos bail, and then Jonas is just sitting there like an idiot. And I think it's Benny who's like, don't you have like that thing that you needed to go do to get rid of Jonas, which leaves them alone. And Kior ends up telling her again that he wants her to join him for those morning practices. But she says that she can't because he's a distraction that she can't afford to have right now. And he promises to keep everything professional as long as she'll continue her training unless she asks for more. And she ends up agreeing to that. And because she knows like his training her is going to help her. So, and he does keep his promise. And he trains her with zero flirting and treats her like any other soldier, which she's a little upset about. She was like, well, that sucks. So later at breakfast with the others, they are discussing the next trial, which they're like, it's got to be soon. Too much time has passed. When Kior shows up in the doorway and is mouthing to her knife, Rose is kind of like looking around trying to figure out what's going on when two strangers appear and the bell chimes, signaling the third trial beginning as the dining hall disappears and she was unable to grab that special dagger that she has. So in chapter 47, they end up at the Fallen Lake, which is a frozen over lake that's the site of an old battle between the Morathkians and the Ison. And their challenge is only just to, like, a lot of their challenges on the surface seem pretty simple because those priestesses come forward,
Just cross the lake.
like the next two challenges are both like, all you gotta do is just get across. Just get across. And even the first trial was just like, you just gotta make it 30 minutes. Just survive.
I'm over here like, so technically they could have found like a tree or something and like hid behind it. You know what I mean? I'm like, that would have been my strategy. Be like, let's just make sure the giants don't see me. Like,
Just stand behind it the whole time. Just keep moving.
Like
they're super big. How fast can they move? I'd just be like
that
right behind
fox
them.
face girl that they called her from the Hunger Games. You know, she was just like, you know what? If no one sees me, I'm gonna just keep going. I'm like, that's an excellent. And she ended up killing herself because she ate those dang berries.
How do you do the salute for the?
Shut up.
It didn't make it into the episode. No one's gonna know the reference. I chopped it. I was like, I don't think I can save it. So.
I've just been like, look, I'm gonna just hide here, or I'll get like right behind a giant. Like, they can't see me back here. You know what I mean? Like,
I think the only thing saving them is they feel like they have to be worthy of the gift.
Mm-hmm. So they have
So
to.
they're
actually
all
do
like
something.
trying.
that's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on the surface, this seems simple. They're like, cross the frozen lake, get to the other side. No time limit, nothing. And so, of course, there's obviously going to be more to that. And so Rose has no magic. When they get transported there, they're transported in apparently like their clothes and their battle
Whatever they
gear.
have. Yeah.
And so she's in her furs and she finds like a simple dagger in there. But she ends up staying close to Kior, knowing that despite everything, he's going to probably keep her safe. So he tells her to focus on just getting across and that they'll worry about her mind later. So so these authors, I feel like they do a lot of this. You get a lot of, like, so you immediately know, like, there's going to be some mind games happening during this. So you get, like, foreshadowing that really tells you what's to come without telling you exactly what's to come. So then you're like, well, what's it going to be? And so I think that's why I'm so addicted to some of the, like, and why I've gone so fast. Because I'm constantly like, well, what's that going to be?
They have
I was
a lot
like,
of good.
when there was like, I was like, is it
keys.
like very thin? Is it like thin ice? I'm like, are there poles?
Well,
Like,
I was wondering. I was
what's
thinking
going
blood
on?
over Brighthaven. Like, what's happening? You know,
I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting.
just get to the other side.
I wasn't expecting like.
I was
Were
thinking,
they like ice and spirits? I'm like, is that?
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking thin ice at first, and I was like, oh, it's probably going to be like people falling in, because they even described that happening with the previous soldiers.
Because it makes me think, like, well, if you're looking at Blood Over Brighthaven, like the blight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta, you know, get over there before the blight gets you. Get over there before the ice cracks. Kind of a.
But but yeah, they were the ghosts of the Ison and the Marathkian soldiers that were like harassing the shit out of him. So we learn pretty quickly that he's alluding to as they inch across, and these voices and visions begin in her head. And Kior reminds her that they aren't real. And I do wonder if some of what is said to her is going to come up later. Even we might get it in like book 2.
Your blood will feed the land of the old one. You are a traitor. Your blood is tainted. Does that tie into what we find out later that happens?
So I'm
Chapter,
like
I think?
50% and up to the second book, and you're starting to get hints.
About her
Yes.
specifically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And y'all know in real time when I was like, oh, look at this. Does this mean she's, you know? Yeah.
One of my favorite
But it
things.
happens in this chapter.
But yeah, I feel like that's going to come back. That's why I actually even underlined it in my physical book, because I was like, I feel like there's going to be so many Easter eggs, especially since we get so little answers in book 1. I'm like, I want to be able to go back and look and see what's popping up.
I know y'all cracked me up last week. Do we find out about this? No. Do we find out about this? No.
Like
Do we
anything
find out
I
about
cared
this
about.
at least?
No.
I
And
felt
then I
like
was
we
like-
needed to interrogate, like have one of those lights on you, like a police interrogation.
Do the okay. In book 2, Ravens.
Yes.
Ravens. Okay.
Well,
Very
yes.
much yes.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, I know that they are something.
The
They are
word
something.
ravens has not been. The reader knows.
It's very clear.
The reader knows. She does not.
Well,
Is there a Is there a difference between the crows and the ravens? Have you met the crows? Like, have the crows appeared?
I'm like, you're like 3% ahead of me. I guess it happened in the 3%. 'Cause I don't think I've seen the crows.
You haven't seen the crows yet?
I don't think. Maybe dude, I don't know. It's been a few days.
Okay.
the Ravens and the Crows. Sounds like
Because I'm like, are they the same?
a gang.
I'm like, they're in the same wheelhouse, but actually I was always taught that crows and ravens are very different.
The weird.
What's a flock of crows?
Murder.
I thought that was a flock of ravens.
No, it's
No,
a
that's-
murder of crows.
And then what's the raven?
An
I don't know.
unkindness.
An
Haven't you watched
unkindness.
Haven't you watched
I
One
did.
Tree Hill?
I did. I could. Like I said, I thought they were the murder, but I got it mixed up.
Unkindness. Remember
Yeah.
that was what's his face's book
Yeah.
title.
It's kind of mean.
Yeah,
I'm so
unkindness.
brain-
Because
Yeah.
they're so sweet though. They bring you presents. They hold grudges, but they also will hold like
Well, apparently
They'll
group
hold
of
a
them
grudge,
is
but
unkind.
yeah.
but they'll also hold like memories of like through generations, like of you were kind to them.
I thought that was crows,
I think it's ravens too.
but I thought they were very different.
Just size wise, they're super different.
I'm gonna stick with penguins.
I
I don't
I think ravens can mimic and crows can't too.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, y'all. Differences between ravens and crows. List them, and we'll look at them later.
If you know, put it in the comments because we're
comments.
desperate to know.
I don't know.
So Rose begins to question how to make the voices stop, pulling her blade, only for Kior to stop her because she's about to slit her own throat. And then Matu and Oak, which were friends, they were like the friends of Zara that were always around with her and hanging out with her, and also like the ones that showed up to try to burn freaking Rose's room down. So they're having a battle of their own amongst themselves and with the ghosts. And nearby, they're like right nearby where Rose is, and she's like, they're gonna end up dead. And she, even though they keep trying to kill her, she's decided she needs to help them because she's apparently a better person than I am, because I think I would have left them on the ice. I'm just gonna be real. I've been like,
honestly, she might as well have.
I know, I was like, I would have probably been like, sorry about you, that sucks for you guys.
Sorry about your bad luck.
So she goes to them just as Matu ends up killing himself by stabbing himself in the stomach. So in chapter 48, Oak tries to cauterize that wound with her magic, even though it is useless. And Rose tries to drag her away, but Oak turns on her, with the voices telling her that Rose is the enemy and needs to die. And so, like, her and Rose and Oak are kind of battling it out. And we get those voices that come back on page 333 and 334.
Okay. 333. You defile the land, defile the one true God, the Mother God. The Mother God. Okay.
Who's like above Etta?
I guess, yeah.
That's, well, yeah, because Etta was a daughter, right?
Mhm.
One of the, 12, whatever?
Oh, snap, 6.
6.
No.
I don't know. I can't remember
Like
the
you done
numbers,
double
but
the kids.
So she ends up trying to ask Etta for help because she's
Mhm.
just desperate. And then the voice comes back.
and they say you are asking the wrong God. You should ask the mother. Just ask, and we will help you, daughter. Daughter. Ooh, she probably has more kids than you saw.
So in desperation, Rose does end up calling out for help of this like other god, right? And when Oak attacks her with a dagger, but when she goes to stab Rose, the blade, when it touches her skin, it turns to ice and shatters. And when Oak lunges again, Rose is able to create a blade of ice and shoves it through Oak's heart, killing her. So, and then afterwards, Rose feels this like rush coming over her of magic rushing through her, and like that she has magic again after being stripped. Just as Kior finds her there and is like, what did you just do? What happened?
He saw it.
So she thinks he's going to kill her, and instead he ends up like handing her a weapon and telling her that like no one can know what happened and they're going to kill her if they know. So once they make it back across the frozen lake, at the end she sees Benny and Linos have made it across and are safe with the priestesses. But before they step off the ice, Kior desperately warns her again that she can tell no one, and she suddenly realizes that she actually trusts him because homeboy just trying to keep her alive. That's all he's been trying to do.
Seems to be more difficult than he probably originally.
So in chapter 49, they're waiting for more to arrive. And Jonas is still missing along with a few others. And meanwhile, Zara is complaining about having to wait. And like, why can't we just end this and like leave? Even though her friends that she doesn't know are dead, Rose knows they're dead. But her friends still haven't returned, which I'm like, those are your friends, girl.
She don't care.
I'm like, that's crazy.
She out but number one.
So finally they see Jonas in the distance carrying Kestria and calling for help. And for a healer. And Benny goes out to get Kestria, but after Benny retrieves her out of his arms, Jonas just quits moving and is just standing out on the ice. So Rose decides to go help him, even though Kior begs her not to. He's like, you barely made it off the ice the first time. What are you doing? And Linos is like, I got you, girl. We're going together. And so she goes with. And Benny ends up seeing that Kestria is blind and realizes that Jonas has blinded her. And he hands Kestria off to Linos to carry back. And Benny and Rose go to get Jonas because he's just like wallowing in his own guilt and just like standing out on the ice. I mean, I don't know if like the voices got to him. He's just struggle busing. He's just like, I'm just gonna stand here and die. It's fine. But they end up getting him back, and the minute they cross off that ice, the trial is called to an end. And so he was the final one to make it.
I'll tell you what. You know who I also don't like? Mila. Screw her.
The priestess?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's kind of shady.
I don't know what's going on with her. I don't like her. I don't know if I'm supposed to not like her or not. Maybe she'll come back and be good later because she's got one of them daggers.
I don't know. Well, because Rose don't like her either.
Yeah, but Rose don't like a lot of people. And
That's
because
true.
she didn't like Kior at first. So, and that ended up
I'd
not
like to
being...
know what Dinah thinks.
Rose was
Diana
over there
thinks so,
bartering Mila's dagger, though, in book 2. She's like, you can just have hers.
She was like, I'll tell you where to find her. I will draw you a map.
She's like, that dagger, that one's mine, but you can have homegirls. It's just like it.
Like, I just don't, like, I don't know. It's funny because, like, Priestess is just standing there, obviously sees all this happening, and then as soon as he crosses, she's just like, all the chosen have returned. And I'm like, how do you... Anyway.
May the odds forever be in your
I was
favor.
gonna say it gives Hunger Games,
There's so much in this that gives Hunger Games, but, like, fantasy.
but different. We're just
It's very much
different.
its own voice.
It's got its own voice,
story.
but it's like...
It's just we're trying
there's
to
nods.
comprehend by comparing it to other things we've read. So it's very different.
It's very different. I mean, very different because it's more fantasy than dystopian, you know. But it does have like some nods to it. The priestesses,
or definite nods to it.
in particular, yeah.
So in chapter 50, Benny tells them the healers have said that they can't bring Kestria's vision back, which means she's out of the Retterheld, which means that there's only 16 of them remaining to go forward. Rose visits Jonas, who is still struggling with his guilt of what he did. Which, I mean, I will say, I know he sort of sucks at using his magic, but also, like, at least he felt bad.
Jonas isn't like
He's not a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy. He's just dumb.
He is just dumb.
He's just dumb. He makes poor choices, and he continues to make poor choices. But they're all with, like, good intentions. But you know what they say about the road to hell?
It's paved with
Good intentions.
Yeah, I don't know. He just doesn't always, I don't know. He doesn't seem to think past himself a lot, I think is part
Well,
of
I
it.
think a lot of his stuff, he's trying to be selfless. You know, it's like, oh, I'll fix this, I'll do this, or whatever. But it's like, maybe it's not you that's the one to fix it. Like, maybe you can just be like, wow, I hope that you figure that out. Like, it seems like once you get involved, it becomes a problem.
Like, I feel like he just needs a supportive role instead of whatever
Like,
he's
man,
trying to do.
Like, he could just be like, so what I'm hearing is you're having a really hard time. You know what I mean? Like, be the counselor. Repeat back what they said. You know, what I'm hearing is that the red or hell is hard. You know, like, not just be like, you know what?
Rose does feel bad for him, and so she admits that she killed Oak, thinking that, like, that would also ease some of his guilt. Like, we all had to do things to survive, or just doing the best we can type thing. She does leave out how she killed Oak, which was a solid choice. But she's just trying to help him get through his little mentee bee. And Jonas feels like that means it's a good time to try to kiss her again. And she pulls away, saying that just, like, not right now, now's not a good time. And Jonas chalks it up to right person, wrong time, which I was like, how about wrong person, wrong time?
Wrong person, never gonna be a right time.
Right. Because all the while, Rose was thinking about, like, I want to go kiss some Kior because he saved me.
I tell you what, you know who I do like, though? Ruben.
I do like Ruben.
I love Ruben.
Which I saw some comments, some people did not like Ruben. They were like, Ruben could have just stayed behind in the slums. And I was like,
what universe can you not like Ruben?
But I'm like, as of where I'm at, I love me some Ruben.
I don't know much about Ruben.
You'll like him.
You'll like
From
him.
what I have already read. I guess I will like him.
I like Ruben. Poor Ruben.
He deserves the world. So she leaves. She ends up leaving to find the prince and goes to the kitchens, you know, where she always has found him. And they're kind of hesitant to say anything about where Kior is, but Kior...
This is the cringy scene. Okay.
Kior says that she can come through to where he has a hidden away room. And once she's in there, she's kind of looking around. There's like a desk in there. There's a bed and all that kind of stuff. It's just like a room. But there's a desk with some drawings that he's made, and he sees at the top of that is some...
He's an artist.
Yeah. Draw me like one of your French girls. But she sees some like drawings of Elska, his dire wolf, on there, and some others underneath there, but she doesn't like look through them. So he asks why she came, and she says to see what he's doing, or what he's going to do about what he saw her do on the ice. And he pretends that he saw nothing, and then pushes that that's not the only reason that she came. And then she finally admits that she wants him, and he makes her say that she's his as he backs her against a wall and finally kisses her. So in chapter 51, they're pretty quickly progressing from kissing to like just ripping each other's clothes off. When it's Kior who actually stops them this time, asking why she changed her mind, worried it's because she's doing this so that way he will keep her secret. And she says he knows he wouldn't say anything. And he asks her if she trusts him completely, but she's kind of unable to say that back, even though I'm like, girl, you know you do. But
You just said it at the end of the last chapter.
right. So she like refuses to say that she trusts him, or at least has a big long hesitation enough that he just kicks her out.
You know your way back. he growls just before the door clicks closed behind him. That whole thing just like really, it was cringy to me. It's kind of like secondhand embarrassment. Again, I'll go back to Scott's tots from The Office. Like,
I don't feel like this was quite as bad as Scott's tots.
It's not. What I'm saying, I use it as an example because sometimes you just read things and like I feel embarrassed like for these people. Like I was just like, oh, that's not a conversation that I'm liking. Like it's not.
But so was it the rejection? Or, like, what was...
The way that, like, just the way it went. Like, the way that he jumped to that conclusion in the middle of things and then her not even knowing how to respond. Like, it was just like, I was like, oh,
Like,
no.
why are y'all talking about this now?
I was like, oh, no. No.
Well, because I actually went along because she had rejected him.
And then all of a sudden, I mean, I got it. I got why he felt that way.
Yeah.
But
I feel like
he
a reasonable assumption.
And
I feel
I
like
don't
he
blame
could have.
him.
I feel like he could have come to that conclusion before, because he was the one that pressed her
Before
that,
it escalated.
right?
Yeah.
He was the one that was like, "That's not the only reason that you're here." Like, you know, I mean, I'm like, if you had those thoughts, then you should have started with that.
We should have voiced those maybe before we got
right until
further
she's
into
like
it.
half like unclothed. You know, I don't know.
As a married woman, that's not going to happen.
the argument will happen first.
There will be no declining in the middle. It's too late.
It's too late. Things are gonna happen. You're like, you gotta suck that up. We'll talk about it later.
I'm sorry you feel this way, but too bad.
It's too damn bad.
Okay, chapter 50.
In chapter 52, Rose goes to her old room that was like all burned up just to be alone. And in the window, she sees 3 ravens.
Just like there's 3 daggers.
So
I'm just making. I don't think that.
I'm glad that there is
I will
something
say-
going on with the ravens.
There's
Because that
something
really
going-
bothered me because I was like,
there's something going on, but I will say I don't have like answers yet.
We just know that they
that
are
there is
there.
They are a thing.
it's a continuous.
They are there, and they're very.
Apparently
intimately
there are
related.
crows
Yeah.
in the who knows? But I mean, I remember clocking that first raven. I'm like,
Raven.
The
Raven
raven-
too. Yeah.
the ravens are a
that's
big
a
deal.
thing.
The ravens are a big deal. We just don't really know why or how yet. Or,
Well, we're not going to find out in this book,
Yeah.
or 50% of the way through the next book.
You just yeah.
You're gonna get there though. I feel like it's coming.
It's got to be, because if we know, she's got to know eventually. Like she's already realizing that it's an
Like,
avian
it sure is a lot of ravens,
situation.
and I'm dressed like a raven.
Like coincidence.
So at breakfast, Linos, Benny, and Jonas are waiting for her, and they discuss the next trial, saying it's going to have to be in pairs and that it's going to probably be in water since that's all that's left. And Jonas immediately tells Rose that she will need help and he will pair with her, and that she just needs to stay out of the way until that he's sure she's safe, which, as we have learned from Rose's personality, is maybe not what should have been said. So Rose agrees to the pairing, but says not to rule her out. She's still trying to play a little devil's advocate with him, but Jonas argues again, saying that her luck will change. Rude.
Very rude.
And that she'd never make it through without their help. Also rude. Like, Jonas, I know you're hurting, but like, don't be a dick. So Kior appears behind her, just out of the blue, again. Pops up and tells Jonas it had nothing to do with luck and that was an insult, which I agreed with. And Rose tries to get Kior to leave the conversation alone, saying it's like a private conversation. But
She's still salty from the rejection.
Yes.
I mean,
That far into it, I'd probably be a little salty too.
I feel like, you mean you couldn't have come to this conclusion when I walked through the door? You butthole. Sorry.
But I don't blame him. He
I
just
don't
should
blame
have
him
come
for
to
his
it.
thoughts, but he should have kept it in his
before.
pants.
Yeah,
Like-
that should have been in conversation before. I do agree with that.
I didn't mean that outburst.
I think she did though.
Just ridiculous. And then show up and be like, I'm gonna defend you now, whatever. Like,
I mean, it's kind of sweet though.
I know.
I
It's
did every-
very nice.
Every time he showed up to defend her, I was like,
I mean, it's kind of like, I know I said what I said, but I'm also sorry, and I still like you.
so Rose is trying to get Kior to leave and just like stay out of it. But he presses on, recounting all the amazing things she's done since the beginning through the trials, saving everyone's ass countless times, and even called Jonas useless because he keeps messing up every time he uses his power.
I mean, he did blind somebody.
And he also tells them she tried to save Oak and nearly died trying, and tells them that if there are pairs, that she's with him and it's an order from the prince before marching away. So Linos calls out the sexual tension that's happening in front of everyone again, which makes Jonas mad and he storms out.
Turns out it wasn't just a case of wrong time, was it, Rose? I'm like, I don't think she.
I'm pretty
ever
sure I read
said
it just
that.
like that in my head too.
Just like that.
I'm like, I feel like that was something that you thought, not that she confirmed.
So later in the battle yard with Holden, he makes her spar with him, saying that they'd never had the opportunity to spar together. And it seems like it's a good time.
He hasn't had the pleasure.
Rose has massively improved since she got there, so much so that she's not only able to eventually like defend him off, but she can see his weaknesses and is able to ultimately defeat him, knocking his own blade from his hand. Holden is pissed, and he ends up trying to use his own magic on her when Kior steps in along beside her, along with Zell's replacement, Roderick the Siphon, saying that she won. Looks like she won.
Excellent. You know what I do wish that we did not get to see was his demise with the water, the poisoned water, because he drank it too. And we saw a little bit of Zara. We saw obviously Kior's, and we didn't get a chance to see Holden
Shit in his pants.
Because he wasn't busy. So you know he was doing something. Yeah.
At least he had the courtesy to have a toilet. You know?
I hope that later
Or
maybe
whatever they
a
use for
raven
toilets.
will tell her, yeah, you know that guy? This is what happened that night when y'all were out hunting.
So Rose goes to leave, saying she needs to get ready for the ball with Linos. And Linos says she's not going because Kaz can't go. And Kior's confused until it's explained that Kaz isn't a noble, so she was not allowed to attend. And in chapter 53, Benny shows up with Kaz dressed for the ball, and apparently Kior sent her an invitation so she could go.
Aww.
So now Linos will go too.
That's so sweet.
And then Jonah, well, it doesn't end up working out in her
I
favor.
know. But
Jo-
still.
She probably wished she,
So Jonas attempts to walk Rose into the ball, and is like kind of like rudely, like weirdly insistent about it too. But she pulls away, saying she wants to talk to her sister, who's with William. So Kay tells them that they must chat quickly because once Hugh arrives, she's promised all her dances to him. And I was like, I made a little note about the sister here that we should discuss her because your sister is in this like precarious life and death trial situation to win a gifting for you, to help you, and in the meantime she's ensured your safety by getting you into the courts and out of the slums, and yet you're worried about going dancing. You won't even she got all this time in between all the trials. All she has to do, the only time she gets to see her sister is at these balls. Yes. And she couldn't bother to have a freaking conversation with her or spend some time with her.
It's because she's 18, she's living in high society now, and she's completely forgotten what it was like to be in the slums.
But when you still love your sister,
she's over here. My dance card is.
I mean, I wouldn't be like that. I would grow up. She has not grown up. I'm just saying she's 18 and she's living it up while she can.
Is the worst.
I wonder if she has a deal or something with Jonas's family about even if
she's-
my sister died, I'm still gonna be here kind of thing. I don't know if she's worried about it or I don't know. But I mean, it's crazy.
the amount of stuff that I will blow off and ignore to spend time with you guys who I consider my sisters, I'm like, you can't spend 5 minutes, and I certainly wouldn't be giving it up to a man that time.
I know. I don't even think I would have done that at her age, but I was an only child. So.
What was his name? Oh, from Pride and Prejudice.
Which one?
The soldier. That.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I can't remember his name.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He's
The
giving
sister
Hugh.
that went after him.
That's who
yeah.
I pictured.
And sullied her reputation. I cannot think of his name either. It'll come to me at midnight. I'll let you know.
Mr.
But anyway, no.
But at least he did the right thing.
God, now it's
In
gonna
the
drive
end.
me nuts.
I know.
In the end, I mean, he at least owned up to it, and he, you know.
He did it right in the end. Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing that too. But see,
Wickham!
Wickham!
Like,
Mr. Wickham, a.k.a. Hugh.
why'd you have to make him freaking hot in the 2005 series?
Well, it explains why she was
fell for him though.
Yeah, and was willing to tarnish her reputation. I was like, girl.
I was like, that's not fair. Why'd you make him good looking? And then there was like this thing on PBS Masterpiece or BBC or something. And it was like kind of like a spin-off of Pride and Prejudice, and it's like Death Comes to Pemberley, and someone like dies in the woods, and it was like Wickham's friend, and Wickham was with them, and so it's like a murder investigation, but they show up with Darcy and Elizabeth, and it's like years later, right?
I need to see
They're
this.
like married, and they've got kids and all this stuff, but Wickham is played by freaking Matthew Good, and I was like, you can't make him that hot. So Rose warns her sister to be careful, basically saying like not to get knocked up without getting a ring on her finger. And Kay switches gears, saying that William mentioned that Jonas might propose to her, which she was a little taken aback by. And she's like, surely not. Kiora approaches with Hugh, and Hugh reminds her of her promised dances to him. And Kiora says that she's probably busy spending time with her sister, which she should have been doing, and that isn't he supposed to be like busy with some woman from Doraine? And I was like, Kiora was trying to help a girl out, 100%. So Hugh brushes him off and takes Kay to dance as Holden approaches, who tells Kiora that he should be mingling and doing his duty. And they get a little tiff, but Kiora does end up leaving. And in chapter 54, Rose is left alone with Holden, who's basically telling her she's going to lose the trials and like isn't deserving of the gifting, and the prince is going to go bored with her, and just being the worst, honestly. But right before he leaves, they're brought 2 glasses of wine that are being served, and they each grab one. And then Lenos and Caroline approach, but Lenos is looking for a drink, and Rose just wants to get some air, so she gives Lenos her drink, that glass of wine. I called this the minute she got handed that glass of wine.
Same.
I was like, that shit's poison.
Well, we've seen it before.
Yeah. I was like, someone's gonna die.
Yep.
So as she leaves the ballroom and enters a hallway, she's shoved inside a room that turns out to be a library by Kiora. She finally admits that she trusts him out loud, and he says about damn time before kissing her. And he proceeds to give her several orgasms. And when she goes to return the favor, I will say this line was amazing. Because he says, not like that, not on your knees for me, not ever. But before they can even get started, Rose hears screams coming from the ballroom. So then in chapter 55, they go in to find Caroline screaming for help as Lenos is lying on the ground, coughing up green bile, very obviously poisoned. So it's very easy to deduce that Holden tried to poison Rose, and it ended up poisoning Lenos on accident, which we all know is just going to send Rose into some kind of guilt spiral because she's going to blame herself. Also, what a loser way to try to take her out on Holden's part.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the scummiest, laziest, kind of, scaredy cattest way to do it. Yes. I don't like him. I'm so glad he's dead. Which, spoiler, he's going to die in about 5 seconds. So healers come in and they do the best they can but they're like, we can't do anything for her. All they can do is ease her pain as she passes. And Rose is pretty able to connect those dots pretty quick and figures out that Holden's the one who poisoned her. And so she leaves to go after Holden, with Kiora following her. And of course, Jonas running behind as well, being Jonas, going like, think about this, no, Rose, don't do it. And Kiora's like, do it! So Holden is trying to run, but Kiora stops and holds him with that static power that he has, being a static daddy instead of shadows. And Holden blames Rose for Lenos dying, saying that she should have known her place and should have just stayed in the slums, and all this stuff. And they end up fighting, each landing blows on each other, but eventually Rose gains the upper hand. But in the end, she just can't bring herself to kill him. But the minute she turns her back, just the minute, Holden, being Holden, doing Holden things, attacks her with a sword. And before she can think, she throws a rock at him and kills him. And I was like, it's kind of anticlimactic with the rock. I thought she was going to end up using her ice magic. So Kay shows up and asks, what have you done? All disgusted because she's an idiot. And meanwhile, Kiora claims that she delivered justice at his command, which protects her from any repercussions that would have happened from killing Holden. So in chapter 56, they end up getting permission from the High Priestess to leave the grounds in order to do a traditional Eastern Isles burial for Lenos, which is basically to what are those things? Like a little wooden raft thingy situation that they used to do it with kings.
Vikings.
Yeah.
Vikings.
Out on the water, and then they burn them on a pyre. So
I was to mention, Kay turns away, not even bothering to wish me luck with the next trial or tell me to stay alive.
She's the worst.
She is the worst.
She's like a terrible sister. Rose is over there just doing the most for her, and this girl just zero appreciation. Mm-hmm. None.
No sense of self-preservation either, I'll tell you.
So back at the hold, everyone goes their own ways, but Kiora has Rose follow him back to his room. And she immediately starts trying to initiate having sex with him again. But he stops, knowing she's using it as a distraction from her pain now, and she ends up getting mad and starts throwing the rumors of Thea, Estelle's sister, at him, which, we learned a little bit ways back in this book about, Estelle getting stripped, or Estelle's sister getting stripped because of her supposedly getting pregnant from the prince. So he argues that he never knew Thea other than around court, and he definitely wasn't the father and isn't even sure that he ever really slept with her. And that at that time, during that time frame in his life, he would was just going out to those battles, and they were really traumatizing. He was coming back, he was getting really drunk, and he doesn't even really remember a lot of that time frame. Which I was like, if you don't remember it, then you can't say you didn't sleep with her, buddy.
And also, this comes up later. So
it does. So clock it. So he promises he's not rejecting her, and he just doesn't want her to regret that they're their first time together. So they end up laying in bed together and just holding each other. And then in chapter 57, the next morning, Kior goes to the kitchen to get them food, and Rose overhears him talking to the cook, who asks about his company and worries that she's not good enough for him. And he says that she is, and that the issue is whether or not he's good enough for her. So she leaves to find Benny and checks on him, but finds Jonas instead. And he tells her she can't trust Kior and that they could never be together because he's the heir to the throne and she's, well, her, which was at best insulting. So Benny tries to ease the tension between the two of them, joking that they're going to have to pair up now and that, Benny and Jonas are going to have to pair up. But Jonas gets mad and says Kior destroyed her life and is just playing with her, and then ends up calling her stupid. Lo and behold, who pops up again? Kior. And he says, quote, call her stupid again and it'll be the last words you to ever leave your mouth. And he ends up telling Jonas off, saying that he could kill him for treason, and if he ever catches him speaking to her like that again, that he's going to kill him. And he also says that he never hated her, he just hated what she reminded him of. And then in chapter 58, Kior makes Rose try to call up her ice magic, saying she needs to practice and get control of it. But she's unable to do it and is really tired and just wants to go to bed. So in Kior's room, she tries to touch him and he stops her. And she's gets mad again. And she's just like, if you just want to be friends, then just say so. But of course, Kior does not want to just be friends. And they finally give in to each other. And they end up starting to have sex. And just as they get going, fourth trial. And so in chapter 59, frantically getting ready, Rose panics that she doesn't have her furs. And Kior reveals that he had Benny bring them to his room days ago, since she'd been staying with him, which I was like, how thoughtful.
Mm-hmm.
So Kior also offers to paint her sigils on her face. And says that he will do it for her because she's like, oh, you do it so much better than I do. And he's like, how about from now on, I'll do it for all of the times that you need them. And she's in her head saying that it reminds her of her parents, that they used to do that all the time, which I also thought was really sweet.
yes.
But so for the fourth trial, apparently the ball for the fourth trial is going to be on the Eastern Isles. And so again, you get this, all you have to do is get to the Eastern Isles. So you have to cross this lake to get there. And there are 4 boats that carry 2 of them each. So that's 8, right? But there's 16 of them left. So they know right off the bat, they're going to have to battle it out just to get on the boats. So to get there, they have to climb down this cliff face to reach the boats. And luckily, Rose and Kiora are like, we got this in the bag because we're really good at climbing. So they go climbing down, and as they're climbing down this cliff face, they keep having this flirty banter back and forth. And Benny's, this was hilarious.
Benny's like, we can hear you.
Right, Benny's like, cliffs echo, right? And then he's like, I preferred it when you guys pretended you hated each other, which as much as Jonas was pissing me off, I did chuckle out loud when he's like, I also definitely preferred that. But once they're in their boats, Rose is they're trying to get their boat out in the water. Rose ends up getting in the water, and she's invaded with thoughts in her mind that aren't her own. And it's saying, I don't want to be here, and I shouldn't be here. And Benny and Jonas, once they start rowing out, they get in their boat. Benny and Jonas are still on the shore, and they're in a battle for a boat. And Rose is like, I can't lose any more people. And she gets Kior to use his magic to help them. And as they're rowing out, water spills into the boat, and Rose is suddenly pulled from her body and starts to feel pain and fear that are not her own. She realizes that it's got something to do with her magic, and she ends up shoving her hands in the water and then screams in agony, but when she pulls them out, she feels completely fine. So she's wondering out loud if it has something to do with her ice magic, and Kior looks ahead and says he hopes so because maybe it will help them figure out what to do next. And in chapter 60, that's because they have to face a kraken.
Release the kraken. And they did.
Yeah. Which apparently the kraken does not belong in these waters. And it's being...
Well, it's a lake, isn't it? Well, is it?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I...
Because there's a channel to get through.
So, I guess it's So...
That leads to the...
And then it's being held in there by those priestesses. So kind of like what they did with the giants, where they were controlling him. So they've taken said kraken, put him in water that he doesn't belong. So he's confused and he's scared. He's just a little guy with...
Well, he's a big
guy.
And they heard it, I guess, because it says
Yeah.
he's
Well, if he's a saltwater creature and in a lake, That's not salty. I would be in pain too if I were a fish.
He's just a poor little guy. I kind of felt bad for the Kraken, honestly.
Well, they helped.
So she convinces Kior again to use his magic and attempt to use it on the priestesses, but of course you're like, you can't attack priestesses. That would be bad. So she's like, just don't hurt them, like distract them enough that, that their magic will release and then the Kraken can leave, and they're hoping that they can just kind of like row around him then, right? Like the Kraken's going to leave and they can get where they need to go. So during this, they are once again having flirty banter, and Kior starts calling her my love during this, which I actually really like too. So Benny and Jonas join them, keeping their boats together as they alternate Kior distracting the priestesses and then Rose checking the water to feel the Kraken's emotions. And it's like this, Kior's having to like really send his magic a long distance, which is apparently is really draining. And he ends up sending this final big blast, which works. What they hoped would happen, which would be the once the wards dropped, the Kraken would leave and go back where he belongs. But the Kraken did not leave. And so that is where we end our chapters this week. So next week, we will be back and we will be discussing these final chapters of Web of Vows and Vengeance, along with predictions for book 2. Although we're reading book 2, so we might have to
Star rating.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to give predictions because half of mine's going to be based off of what you've already said.
But we will definitely be doing our review and our star rating. So join us next week as we finish up a Web of Vows and Vengeance.
It's probably going to be a
I
5.
don't know. Oh, there it is.
There. Yes.
So we'll see everybody then. Bye.